Hello and welcome to a brand new Let's Play of Buried, an interactive story with Rambler. Don't worry, we're still going to finish Tales of Berseria and we're going to carry on with Deponia, the complete journey. But because I haven't done videos now properly for like 2 to 3 months, or at least it's getting on for 3 months, I wanted to break myself in gently again and try and get back into a recording rhythm with this game, which I actually watched an LP of with Markiplier, as I'm sure many of you probably have as well. But if you haven't, I will leave a link in the description below for you to check it out if you wish. But long story short, I really enjoyed this Let's Play of it. But this game is, as it says, an interactive story, meaning, as it points out, that there are choices to make and the plot will change as a result. And I want to play it for myself on the channel. I want to enjoy it and I want to make choices that I would have made that Markiplier wouldn't have made, simply because that's the whole point of the game. So yes, let's play Buried, an interactive story. Now before we begin, I just want to quickly mention I apologise again for not doing any videos over the last 2 to 3 months. Long story short, I've been very busy with work. Work's been quite erratic as I do shift work at my local hardware store. And I've made myself as open as possible to as many extra hours as possible to keep things ticking over and save towards a new car that I'm planning to buy, hopefully by the end of the year, as I need one. That's all. And I've also, in my free time that I have had a lot of family things to do because I still live with my parents and what have you, and it's all been good and everything, but it's just happened more often than not, and therefore my free time to record things has been rather limited. But recently my hours at work have been cut, and I also believe that there's something going on at work that isn't really settling well with me at the moment. I feel like I'm being sidelined a bit, which is fine. That's just what happens. But either way, it's left me feeling a bit unhappy of late, and I was planning to do this earlier on in the week. I'm planning to get back into making videos earlier than when I've done this, but I've not been very happy. Things have happened, and it could all be in my head, but I don't know. I just feel like I'm being a bit forgotten and sidelined, or I've said or done something that's upset somebody at the top. I might very well have done, but either way, yeah, I've been a bit sad. At the same time, however, I've also been working on another LP project recently that I hope I can get off the ground, because if I can, that would be really, really good fun. And that's helped me keep going. But at the same time, again, I have to say that I'm really sorry that I haven't done any videos. Like I said, I haven't been happy recently, but I also know there's a massive pandemic going on, and I'm sure a lot of you who may be watching this have also been going through tough times and may not be very happy yourself. Perhaps you've had some really proper issues happen to you. Job security may be that you've got a job still, but hours have been cut yourself, or you've lost your job and you're trying to find work. Maybe you've got relatives or friends or loved ones who have been affected by this pandemic, and I hope that they're okay. And if they're not okay, that they get okay, or if the worst has happened, that they're in a better place. Either way, I know that the world is a bigger place than my problems, and there's a lot of shit going on. So I really do hope, guys and girls, that you're all right and that everything's going okay. And if it isn't, I hope, touch wood, that things will go all right and get better for you lot. And if they are going well, they continue to go well and get better anyway. Again, I'm so sorry I haven't done any videos for a while. I'm really not. But let's be positive, which is what one colleague of mine keeps telling me to do. Let's do this. So yeah, I have no idea how this works in terms of its save structure. I can't do it all in one recording, so we're just going to go as far as I can. But for those of you who are not aware of this game, it is basically a text-based adventure. And there's a lot of reading, basically, which I'm going to do. I'm going to read through all this as best as I can and make it as tolerable as I can, and try not to make it too loud or piercing, what have you. But essentially, it's a story about a logger, I believe, and something happens, and basically, we take on the role of this logger who has to try and work out what's going on around him and get him to safety. But also, there's other things going on. It's a horror story-ish type of thing, but it's really good. I really enjoyed it, and like I said, if you don't want to watch me play this, Markiplier's links down below. If you haven't checked him out already, check him out. Very, very good stuff, and I'm sure there are other Let's Players that you know who may have done this. Check him out if you haven't already, or what have you. But the point being is thank you for listening to me ramble for these last 3 minutes. We are going to start now. So, as you can see on the text on the screen, and if you can't, I'm going to read it out to you. Buried is an interactive story, as I've said. The plot will change based on the choices you make. The story is broken into 5 chapters. Play straight through or at your own pace. I'm hoping that means I can save in between, but we'll see. There's no waiting and no pauses. Enjoy and choose wisely. Get ready, guys. This is good. This is good. I guarantee you this is good. Let's begin. I said begin! There we go. It's a bit stubborn, this game, sometimes. I open my eyes, and the first thing I want to do is scream. I'm flat on my back and everything seems to hurt. The trees overhead look familiar. It's a clear night sky, almost beautiful. Except for the fact that this means I've been out cold for at least 6 hours. But there's something wrong. I don't remember what, but something happened and... my head... oh my god, my head hurts. And ringing in my ears. Was there an accident? It's an explosion, I think. I remember Dennis screaming, but after that, I can't remember. As I sit up, I notice that my hard hat has been thrown off. I look around the area, but it's not here. It feels strange to go anywhere without my hard hat, but I've got to find the other members of the crew. They could be in danger. So yeah, this thing has happened with this character, and we've got to help him. So we could search for the hard hat, or we can forget the hat and search for the crew. I'm going to forget the hat and search for the crew. I would do. That's just me. Hard hat be damned. Health and safety's over the top anyway. I decide my hat can wait until I figure out what's going on. I get up and take a look around the logging site. I smell something burning. I don't hear any engines running. Wait! Something isn't right. Was it the bulldozer? Maybe the damn thing overheated for the last time. Maybe the engine finally blew. Oh, what a mess. Maybe I'm jumping to conclusions. Only one way to find out, I guess. I'll walk over to the centre of the logging site. And I don't like what I see. And what is it that you see that you don't like? That isn't something I'd like to see. That looks bad. The logging site looks like a bomb was detonated right in the centre. I don't know where to start. The one load we had managed to stack on a truck for the day is overturned. The trailer bent and the logs hanging off the back. Where the hell is everyone? Oh, my head's killing me and this ringing in my ears. I can't hear anything. Not birds, not my footsteps. Nothing. It makes me wonder if I hit my head after my hard hat flew off. I run through a quick mental checklist to make sure my brain is still working. My name is Roger Hastings. I'm 41 years old. The year is 2017. I own a small logging company. We've been logging in the strip of Kentucky woodland for almost a month now. Okay, so my brain works. That's a relief, but it also makes me fearful. Because something is certainly not right here. I look around the logging site, my mind trying to figure out what has happened. Just about every piece of equipment has been overturned or tilted. So we could look at the debris, or we could look at the truck. Well, I would probably look at the debris if I was intelligent enough to figure out from the debris what has happened. I am not intelligent enough to figure out what has happened from looking at debris. I'm going to look at the truck. I think that's more important because we are, as Roger said, we run this logging company. We need to know what's happened to our assets. The truck. The hitch is completely broken, like it was blown off in an explosion or a really bad accident. Had there been an explosion? All the fuel on site would have started a fire. But there's no charring, no burning, nothing. I walked through the area where Dennis had been working. From the looks of it, he'd been moving slowly. He'd only taken down 4 trees today. His metal lunchbox is open, an indicator that he had been taking an early break. Ooh, Dennis, we're gonna have words. But he's not here. No one's here. Where the hell is everyone? I could try to make a call on my cell phone, but its battery's already running really low. Not that it matters, I mean the reception is crap out here. Well, To be fair, why would you call someone on a cell phone or a mobile in the middle of debris stroke explosion thing that's happened? You're just going to yell out, aren't you, and hope for the best? Oh, I'm just going to yell out. It just makes sense. Hey guys! Where is everyone? Tony? Dennis? Frank? Joe? But their names fall flat among the wreckage. I get nothing back other than scaring away a few birds overhead. Pesky birds. Might as well start walking and try to find some answers. The highway is almost a mile back through the woods, down the gravel road we used to reach the site. Maybe the crew ran that way for help. But why would they have left me? Were they scared? Out of sorts? Did they hate me? Was I a bad manager? Probably. Maybe I can catch up to them. But with my truck turned over on its side, it looks like I'll be walking. Oh, God, I can't even remember what I was doing before waking up on my back. Wait. What's that underneath the bulldozer? Oh my God. It's a leg. It has to be either Tony or Dennis. The dozer looks unstable, like it might roll some more. Might not be safe to get close, but at the same time I can't just leave them there. I mean, chances are, if they're underneath the bulldozer, you haven't specified what part of the bulldozer they're under, but if a leg is there, I doubt they're under the rolly bit. Or if they are, the leg isn't. Oh, do you know what? Let's just do it. Let's go and have a look. I can't leave my crew members out there. That'd just be cowardly. Hey, I yell. Are you okay? Are you alive? Well, currently not, because their leg's sticking out. Well, they might be, but if the leg isn't twitching and you didn't hear any sounds coming from them, then obviously not. I skip over the stray logs and wrecked equipment to get closer. Seeing the dozer teeter makes me think maybe I should have grabbed my hat. I could see a bit more of the... Oh, hang on a minute. I should be back in a sec. Hold on a minute. Sorry for the interruption there. Because I haven't recorded for so long, I didn't know if I actually pressed record on Audacity to record my commentary. I was like, hang on a minute, did I record that? Ah, bugger. But no, I did. That's okay. Sorry about that. Right, anyway, sorry to ruin the moment. Back to it. I can see a bit more of the leg. The jeans are soaked in blood. I recognise the work boots. It's clearly Tony. That's not good. I should have grabbed my hat. His leg is bent at an impossible angle, nearly crushed flat. The closer I get, the more apparent it becomes that Tony didn't survive. I'm not even going to bother pulling the body out. No offence to Tony. I mean, I could have got my hat and I could have helped out. I don't want the bulldozer to I don't want him left under the bulldozer, of course not, but I'm just going to leave him alone. If he's dead, he's dead. We can sort him out later. At the end of the day, if I can get help and people to come and help us here, they can get the body out and probably do a better job than I can. Let's leave it alone. Sorry, Tony, but I'm not going to sabotage your body any worse. There's nothing I can do for him now. I start to back away slowly. In my shock, I stumble back, suddenly tripping over one of the stray logs. I bang my head hard on one of the logs as I fall. Instantly, I can feel a massive lump forming on the back of my head. Damn, why didn't I grab my hard hat? Back in health and safety for the first time ever. I actually bloody need it. But what hurts more is the realisation that Tony is dead. Looking at him, I feel something rising up in my throat, and I don't know if it's a scream or vomit. Well, if it tastes disgusting, you know which one it is. But I have to push it away. If I lose my cool right now, there are too many questions that will go unanswered. Shit, I can't believe this. Tony, he had 2 boys. He coached his oldest son's baseball team. It was the hardest work I had. It was one of the most honourable and reliable men I knew. Also honest, because I misread that bit, but you know what I mean. This isn't right, definitely. I can't stay here. I have to find Dennis, Frank, Joe. I have to find out what happened here. I mean, God, if you're someone who's owned the company and has worked with people for ages and all this shit's happened and you haven't got a clue what happened because it may have been an explosion that knocked you out, fucking hell, man, that is a lot of shit to process and thinking, oh my God, my crew are dead. Am I going to get sued? Is this my responsibility? Oh, fucking hell. No, a bit selfish. No, you want to help them out anyway. Worry about the suing later. As I walk through the stacks of logs from the last week or so of work, everything feels frozen. This high-pitched sound in my ears, it's terrible. keeps happening every few seconds and sounds like it's coming from far away. I can't help but wonder, is it my ears? Or is it something else? The silence out here is creepy, and there's a smell on the atmosphere after a bad summer storm. I might as well admit it, I'm a little scared. Everyone is missing and it's dead quiet out here. And there doesn't even seem to be a breeze to rustle the leaves and branches. My right knee hurts like hell. My head was hurting so bad before that I never even noticed the pain in my knee. I must have hurt it during the... well, during the what? Accident? Or... wait, is that Dennis? I see him sitting on the ground, motionless about 30 feet away. I'm going to yell out. I'm not going to walk up to him. Dennis! I yell. Dennis, can you hear me? He lets out a shout, like someone waking from a nightmare, and looks back at me from the ground. Yeah, Roger, I hear you. He hollers back as I head over to him. Dennis is built like a wrestler and has the tough personality to match. But in this moment he looks disorientated and even a little anxious. That's because wrestling's fake. Yeah, I went there. Though I'm glad to see him, the fear on his usually confident face is alarming. Oh, what happened? What's going on, he asks. Well, the crew isn't missing because we found Tony. So that's not true. I mean, the rest of them aren't missing, but we found Tony. So, and we've sort of gathered that an explosion's happened, but not really with evidence. Let's just go with the crew is missing. I mean, they are. The majority of them are, to be fair. Missing? Dennis says. Where do you think they went? I'm not sure, I say. But he has to be pretty freaked out. Something's not right here. Still sitting on the ground, he looks around the woods, as if he's just now understanding the severity of the situation. The equipment was overturned. The dozers too, I say, wiping my forehead. You okay, I ask him? Yeah, just shaken up. Yeah, me too. This might have been the most intimate conversation Dennis and I had ever had. Well, he and I have always been on good terms. We've never been particularly close. I've always respected him, though. Sure, he's come to work a few times looking like he's been in a bar fight the night before. But I've also seen him do an enthusiastic impression of a dinosaur as he played with Tony's kids while they waited for their dad to finish up his shift. Fair enough, sounds like a decent bloke to me. It's then that it hits me. Dennis and Tony were good friends. I'm not sure I want to rattle him with news of Tony's death right now. Not before we know what's going on. But he has a right to know. Oh, well, I know exactly. This is one of those things whereby you don't want to freak out Dennis, but you're his boss. Yeah, he's going to freak out and be like, oh my god, it's all your fault. But trust me, it's better to be honest and at least have the integrity to not lie about Tony. I know it's going to create more problems, but I'm just going to tell him. By the way, even though I watched Markiplier play this game, I can't remember any of the choices he made. I generally can't. So don't think I'm making the same choices as him. If I do, it's completely coincidental. I cannot remember for the life of me what he's made. I'm just going by what I would do. That's all. And inevitably, there's going to be choices that me and Mark have made that are the same. But I promise you, I'm just making the choices I would do. And in this case, I ain't going to dick around the bush. Yes, it could cause problems, but I know at the end of the day, honesty is the best policy. It's also the hardest, but it's the best. Tony is dead. Oh. You're up front with Dennis about Tony. Dennis's eyes fixate on me, startled. He was crushed at the end of the dozer, I say. He pauses for a moment, like he's trying to understand what I said. His eyes narrow and his bottom lip quivers. Shit, he says. And I can tell that he's fighting back tears. He and Tony have been tight, almost like brothers. Hey, he adds quickly, as if trying to escape the reality of Tony's death. Did you see that light? No, I say. What did you see? I don't even know, Roger, he says. It was like this flare of white light. It came right out from the ground, like an explosion. Ah, so there was an explosion, I say. Maybe it was some equipment or... this was no equipment, Dennis interrupts, agitated. This huge ball of light came right out of the damn ground. Well, there's no point in asking them what did it look like. It's a ball of fucking light, Roger. How else is a ball of light meant to fucking look like? Where'd it go? This is also a dumb question, but it's the least dumb in my opinion. It just shot up into the sky till it was out of sight. When? Oh, I'm not sure, he answers. But I finished about 10 trees for the day? Well, that's a fucking lie right there. And I was about to top one. No, that's when it happened. You were almost done with 10 trees? He hastens, looking at the ground. You know, I wouldn't want to take a lunch break till I was done. He's a fucking liar. And that's when the light blew up. Why? You don't believe me? Ooh. I mean, damn. This is a tough one as well, because at the end of the day, we know from observation that Dennis didn't cut 10 trees and he took an early break. I'm going to stick with honesty as the best policy, because at the end of the day, we've told him Tony's dead. I ain't backing down. Consistency is key. You're fucking exaggerating, Dennis. Don't be a dick. You think I'm making this up? You think I got whacked on the head and start seeing things? Dennis asks. No, Dennis, it's just you cut 4 fucking trees. Get the hell away from me, he interrupts. I don't need this. Get away from me! Oh, come on, Dennis. Look, the highway's more than a mile away, and we could be... Fine! Let's just keep moving, he shouts. Just keep your distance. We both stand up and start heading towards the road. It isn't until we start moving that I see Dennis is wounded. His right side is coated in blood, red seeping through his blue work shirt. There are splatters of it here and there, but also a very large red splotch that makes me worry. Well, he isn't going to give a toss now, really, is he, about what we say? Because he's like, oh, you call me a fucking liar. But I'm like, no, damn fucking straight. I told you Tony was dead. I'm being honest with you. Don't fucking lie to me. And how did you get that injury? I don't need to be dumb about it. You're in a lot of pain, Dennis, you big dick. What do you care, he snaps. Clearly still resents me for not believing his whole story, but what happened to him? Maybe he was being thrown by whatever that explosion was. Well, it's highly likely. It's then I noticed that the strange ringing noise is still filling the air. Hey, I said, stopping. Do you hear that high-pitched ringing noise every once in a while? He looks scared, and I ask him this question. He just nods. Oh, I thought it was just me, he says. He looks out of sorts and uncertain. I've never seen him like this before. It's obvious that he's looking for some reassurance. Even though I'm his boss, there's something very unnerving about this. Ah, fuck it. Even though it's not freaking me out personally, I would be reassuring him. I'll be okay. Let's be realistic. Might as well try to be empathetic. I know he's not going to buy it. Out here in the middle of these woods, the ringing could be anything. It could be a car from the woods or something. Exactly. At the end of the day, we'll be fine. Even my passive comment seems to have reassured Dennis. He looks a bit calmer and more relaxed. Look, we're his boss, and at the end of the day, we need a calm workforce. Even though I've been honest with him and have upset him, I ain't going to dick around. We are the leader at the end of the day. We better start moving forward and don't say another word. Did you try to call Frank? Dennis asks. I know he had a cell on him today. Not yet. I still have some battery left. I'll pull out my cell and call Frank. Happy I didn't make the call to Dennis earlier. It rings, but he doesn't pick up. But then his phone go off, behind the stack of logs. Dennis and I give each other a look. As the phone goes to voicemail, I hang up and we walk behind the logs to find Frank's phone on the ground. Abandoned. We look around for Frank but find nothing. Not a single trace. It's then that I notice something really odd. A 10-foot wide hole in the ground, right near where the phone was. There's no straight piles of removed dirt or rocks. It's clean, smoothly dug, cutting into the earth. It's wide, but only a few feet deep. It looks unnatural, like the ground was just deleted. No shovels or diggers used. Dennis walks over to it. This looks like the same kind of hole where I saw that light come from the ground, he muses to himself. No, I say nothing. My mind is spinning, but I don't know what to think. We need to get out of here, Dennis mutters. At that moment, that ringing noise carries through the forest again, sending a shiver down my spine. Dennis is right. There's something strange going on. We might not be safe here. But that ringing sound could be a clue to the rest of the crew rent. Ooh. No, we can't abandon our crew. Fuck that shit. Let's go check out that sound. Hey, something's not right, I say. And if there's a mechanical noise like that, you think someone is out there, he asks? Well, maybe. I think we should at least check it out. They might be able to help. Yeah, you go right ahead, he says with a grin. I'll be waiting for you. Better hurry, though. Dennis doesn't look like he's in the best shape to be transferring the forest, but we need some answers right away, too. Yeah, that's fine. We'll leave Dennis here. If he wants to stay, he can stay. Okay, I'll go alone, I'll say. You stay here and try to hang on. We'll try and find someone. Anyone. I'll give Dennis a final look, sensing that this could be a big mistake. Oh, piss off. He'll be fine. He's looking at me like he's terrified of me now, making a moan in his throat. I turn away and start moving through the woods quickly, with Dennis all alone. I need to find the crew and get help right away. At the end of the day, if he's injured, he can stay. Every tree out here looks exactly the same. I grew up in the country and can find my way around the forest without much of a problem, but I'm starting to feel a little disorientated. I'm leaning against a tree where I see something that has no business being here. The logging crew's been out here for 3 weeks, and it seems impossible that we could have missed it. What is it? Let's find out. I have no idea what that is. Looks odd. It's a small building, sort of like a mixture of a shack and bunker. That isn't a small building, that's some sort of tubey, holy thing in some rocks. That's an indentation. It looks to be made of concrete, but moss, weeds and plain old erosion also make it look sort of mystical. No, it's just because it's a well, alright, whatever, I'll just roll with it. It looks like something out of a demented version of a medieval fantasy movie. No, it doesn't. Well, at least judging by the picture anyway. Part of me wants to go back for Dennis. Seeing this eerie building in the middle of nowhere makes me yearn for company. It makes me feel like a little kid that's spooked to that old abandoned house at the end of the street. Plus that ringing noise that happens every once in a while. I think it's coming from this building. I'm racking my brain trying to remember if I've seen this before. But I haven't. I'm sure of it. It's never been here until now. Is Frank in there? Or Joe? They can't be, but then again, they aren't anywhere out here. Looking inside the building is certainly more appealing than walking through the woods for a mile with an aching knee. I find I'm a little scared when I take my first few steps towards the building. The first thing I see is a sturdy metal door closed shut. Well, I'm sure the picture only shows a little bit. I'm sure that actually it probably does look the way that he's described it. It just, I don't know, if I'd have seen that, like, you could see like in the background picture there's like an iron door frame thing. It just seems like somebody's built into it, but not built it, if that makes sense. But then again, like you said, there's moss growing on it and everything. I'm just being pedantic and overthinking, drunk too much cider. So, let us knock, because that's the polite thing to do. Feeling a bit strange, I rap on the door a few times. It creaks and echoes with a tough metallic sound. After hearing no response, I turn the handle and open it, surprised that I encounter no resistance. The door opens easily, even though I hear the click of a lock. Looking closer, I see that it locks from the outside. Is someone trying to keep somebody from leaving? Maybe. Stretching out in front of me is a small interior to match the outside. The building is totally empty. There's concrete floor and dingy, featureless walls. There are no windows, giving the place an even more isolated feel. Still, I hear the ringing noise coming from somewhere in here. It's louder now, more prominent. The interior seems confining at first, but a small set of concrete steps leads about 5 feet down, revealing a long corridor. Oh, well, that's not creepy at all, is it? I mean, that looks very inviting and cozy. It's a massive corridor. In fact, like I'm in some kind of building underground. It seems to go on forever. This corridor is quite dark, lit only by emergency lights spaced every 10 feet or so. I assume I'm now underground because this corridor extends far beyond the limits of the building I entered. I realise that someone might not appreciate finding me here. I just personally would have just turned around, gone back to Dennis and go, there's a weird fucking not natural building thing with a doorway that's not really a door. Well, it is a doorway, but it's got an iron door thing, and I knocked on it because I'm polite, and then there's a thing, and I went in the thing, and now I'm in a creepy corridor out of some horrible SCP HP Lovecraft shit. And then I took common sense and thought, fuck it, Dennis, you and me, getting the shit out of here. Let's just get the specialists in, get the professionals, they can deal with it. Maybe they'll even bribe us some money to pretend nothing happened. Let's just do that, and then we can go to a bar, drink in Tony's honour and the crew, and then if they turn up later in life, we'll just say, sorry bro, didn't see you there, give them some money, and then have a drink, and everything will be great. Or either way, we have to proceed inwards, and we can either tiptoe or walk quickly. Let's tiptoe. It's the sensible thing to do. I feel like a ghost, like I truly have no business being here. I move slowly, my feet not making a sound. If anyone is in here, I want to make sure they don't hear me. I tiptoe forward as softly as I can. Just coming into view at the end of the hallway is another set of concrete stairs leading further down into the depths of the earth. I can still hear the ringing noise every so often. It's coming from somewhere in here. I look ahead to the concrete stairs, wondering just how far down they go. I approach the stairs, and as I take my first step down, I get the sense that I'm crossing some sort of line here. There may very well be no going back. Don't go back to Dennis! I was under the impression we'd discover something and then go, do you want to go back for Dennis? Tell him what the fuck's going on, or do you want to go on alone? You've just made the choice for me, and it's like, just go on alone. Just let curiosity take hold, because, you know, it only killed the cat. It didn't kill Roger, did it? Idiot. Oh yeah, definitely going into SCP, whatever number it is, that everlasting staircase that goes down and then there's the jump scare at the end. Oh good. As I head down the stairs, I notice that they look aged. Down ringing noises somewhere below, louder than ever. I feel like I'm walking down into the cellar of a haunted house, the light becoming scarce as the stairs take a slight turn. Well, turn back! I can feel the temperature drop. As I keep moving down the stairs, my mind seems to lock in on the unknown fate of the rest of my crew. Yeah, well, screw them. You've just decided to wander into a random building and just let your curiosity take you. Fuck them. Frank is married and I've met his wife a few times. A nice woman with a huge laugh. Not huge, anything else? My heart sags a bit when I realise I might never ever get to hear him belting out classic rock tunes during lunch break. Joe, well, I don't know too much about him. He's 22 years old and is considering community college. Fuck him. His folks are deadbeats, so he's been providing for himself since the age of 16 or so. Again, fuck him for trying to make something of his life from a bad background. Out here in the woods, regardless of the backgrounds or ages, I'm responsible for them. That's why I'm fucking them. Whether frequenting the local bar after a long day, or while away from their families on this risky job, I'm responsible for them. Maybe I can still find them and still get to hear Frank singing in his deep baritone voice after a few too many drinks. I slowly stick my foot out in search of the next step, which is in front of him, I imagine. I can't help feeling like a child as a very powerful fear seizes me. I'm expecting a monster to reach out the darkness, slicing into my throat. Again, turn back. After what feels like forever, we come to the bottom of the stairs. I'm closer to the source of the ringing noise now. The door sits securely in the wall and looks just as out of place here as I feel. A sliver of light seeps through, illuminating the area. The door has what looks like a panel with lots of labels and lights. Small embossed print above the panel says, Level 1, Entrance Gate, Transport Sector. And there's a button with no label. Well, I'm not just going to randomly push the button. That would be dumb. Let's have a look at the panel, shall we? I mean, we're obviously going to have to push it, so let's try and be a little intellectual. The panel looks like a diagnostic or alert system of some kind, each label meant to communicate some status. Lockdown, engaged. Experiment in progress. Shutdown, engaged. These all appear to be off, but one of the phrases is a slowly blinking red light next to it. The only powered light on this whole thing. Abnormal entity breach. The hell? I slowly push the door open and more light pours in as I walk through. Again, no choice on that. As I do, that ringing or beeping of whatever the hell it is gets a little louder. The door closes behind me with a click. At this moment I can't help but think about Dennis back up on the surface. What's going on up there? Why did that bulldozer turn over? What was it that knocked us out? I hope I haven't left him in the dangerous situation. Yeah, well, you've just decided to do your own thing. Whatever, you're a bad manager. I've been so preoccupied with my own fear that I nearly forgot about the ringing noise. It had become just background noise. Take a few more steps. I can now see where I am. It makes no sense. Yet another thing that simply seems out of place. Shapes and muted colours of metal are easy to identify. It just doesn't belong here. Dad, go back to Dennis! Just go! That's what I would have done, but apparently not Roger. Right, so, end of chapter 1. Shall we proceed further? I think we will. I'm just going to go top myself up with a little more cider, and we'll carry on and go into chapter 2. So, back in a moment. Okay, cider at hand. Let's proceed to chapter 2. Is that the same corridor or something different? Respect the dead. You and 36 players left Tony's body where you found it. Well, you fucking should do. You and 76% of players were upfront with Dennis about Tony's death. Good. You and 45% of players told Dennis you didn't believe his story. Yeah, well, we don't trust him, he's a dick. Curiosity. You and 75% of players went to investigate the ringing sound. Teamwork. You and 36% of players decided to leave Dennis behind. Yeah, well, okay. Look, Gabe, don't be fucking dicking with me, okay? I left Tony's body there because we respect the dead. Yes, we were upfront about Tony's death with Dennis, because you would. Trust, however, because we're upfront with him, and then he decides to lie to us, trust's a two-way street. So, if I'm going to be honest with someone, but they're going to lie to me, I'm calling them out on it. They can fuck right off. That happens a lot, you know, and I'm sure it happens in everyday life. But no, sorry. Any sort of interaction with human beings or people is a two-way street. I really think as a society, or even as the human race, we've forgotten that. It's a two-way fucking street. If somebody's being honest with you or telling you something, do it fucking back. That's how you build relations. Ugh. Instead, we all on our screens and using social media to bitch at each other and staying in abusive relations. Oh, whatever. Anyway, I don't care. By the way, fuck Dennis. But obviously we went to investigate the ringing sound because we were concerned about our crew. And then, I mean, the only reason why I left Dennis behind is not because I didn't want him with me. It's because he's injured. And I think Dennis would be more respectful if I'd have left him. Not to isolate him, but just because, well, he's injured. And I went to go get the crew. I didn't know, as Roger, that I was just going to abandon him there. I was like, oh no, I'll just go on ahead and investigate this random building in the middle of nowhere to find out what's happened to my crew. I'd have at least gone back to Dennis and told him what I was going to do and say, right, Dennis, there's a fucking strange building out here, bro. I'm going to go and investigate it further to find out where the crew is. If I don't come back within the hour, go down the road, or if you want to go down now, go down the road, get some help. That's what I would have done. But anyway, whatever, so that's just me. Let's begin chapter 2. Fuck now. Bloody hell, well, that's a change of pace, isn't it? We're standing on the thin platform of what looks like a fancy subway. We're standing? The rails look well used, but not old. There are small overhead lights that are very dim, as if they're running on emergency power. The dim overhead lights are a blessing, but the size of the place makes me feel vulnerable. Staring ahead, the tunnel seems to be endless. It's almost dizzying. But there's a small light further ahead, and a space that breaks the monotony of the tunnel's curved surface. Another platform, maybe. This understanding comes with a very strong sense of trespassing. I'm definitely not supposed to be here. So we could just announce we're here, or stay silent. Why we're standing? Because Dennis is left alone. I'm on my own. Are you referring to me as the player, or is that a bit of a typo where it should be I'm standing on it? Because we left Dennis behind him. I've no idea. Whatever. The point being is if we're not meant to be here, I think we should stay silent. It just seems, you know, sensible. I keep my mouth shut. I don't understand what kind of situation I'm in, so there's no need to alert whoever might be here. The reality of what I'm seeing is sinking in. Whatever this place is, it reaches way underground. That seems impossible to me, making anything that's on the other side of this tunnel dangerous as far as I'm concerned. But of course I'm going to go on. Human curiosity is going to see to that, and also I'm not a fucking cat. But the ringing noise is louder down here. It's much more solid now, and there's some other sound. Something like the faint hum of machinery? I can either go left or right. The left is slightly lit, the right not so much. This makes me uneasy because I get the sense that one wrong turn in a place like this, I'll be wandering for hours. Looking each way, I jerk my head right as I hear the unmistakable sound of someone walking. Footsteps! Did I really hear something? I wonder if my eyes strain to see anything. Oh, wait a moment, but the sound doesn't come again. So those are my options. To the left are flickering lights, indicating that I'll at least be able to see. There's also a hum of machinery, a sign of life. To the right is just darkness, but I also heard footsteps in that direction. Well, if there's darkness and footsteps in that area of darkness, I'm not someone who wants to go and investigate it, because it could very well be a human being that will catch us and tell us off. Could be someone who's just as lost as we are, Or it could be something else entirely. I mean, Rog, left, mate. Just go fucking left. Alright? Go where you can see. Seems smart to stay in the light. Left it is. Bloody damn straight it is. I mean, if it ends up some bullshit where we end up dying and what have you, you think, okay, fair enough. But just what I would do. As I head left, the lights ahead are like a beacon in the dark, luring me forward. I wonder if it's a good or bad thing that they left the lights on for me. I think to myself, I'm trying to be funny, but end up creeping myself out instead. As I near the lights, I hear the hum of machinery grow louder, but it doesn't sound like any machine I've ever heard before. Now fully stepping into the light, I hear that the sounds of machinery are coming from an area on the left side that's protected by a guardrail. Wisps of bright blue light dance on the walls as they leak out from whatever is below. I also notice a poster sign that says, "Danger, severe radiation poisoning." Well, I mean, I was criticising health and safety before. I mean, at the end of the day, that was because we knew the situation we were in. Fuck it. But now we're in an unknown situation. Suddenly, health and safety seems... I take it a bit more seriously because we're in the unknown. At least with the logging situation, we're known, we know how it works, we know how it wanders. You can apply a bit more common sense. But since we're in an unknown area, bollocks to it. Stay back and move on. No point risking it. I don't think I should get near whatever is down there. I mean, we're curious, but I'm not dumb. I study the blue lights for a moment and turn away. I have enough problems as it is. I don't think I need to add radiation poisoning to my list. I step away and take off down the tunnel again, very aware that it's probably not the smartest idea. As I start walking, I notice another structure coming into view up ahead. Well, as long as it hasn't given us radiation poisoning, I'm fine with it. See, looks like a subway station. Totally fine. As I head further into the tunnel, I reach another platform. I'm looking and trying to process where I am now when I suddenly hear the rapid footfalls of someone running towards me. They're sprinting this way from the dark side of the tunnel and fast. I can't see anything, but the footsteps echo towards me. Having not seen or heard anyone else in here, I've no idea if they're dangerous or not. I realise I only have a few seconds before they'll be on top of me. Hide and attack. Yes, good idea. Wait, hide and attack? Oh, whatever. Thinking fast, I duck under the platform and hide in its shadow. I wait for a few seconds till the runner gets closer and closer, still cloaked in the dark. At the moment when they are about to come into light, I lunge at them. We both go down and roll as an exhausted breath escapes them. From the grunting I can tell it's definitely a man. I end up on top and have him pinned to the ground. It's then that I can finally see his face. I can't believe my eyes. It's Dennis? Dennis! What the hell are you doing down here? I left you up at the logging site. I immediately released my grip and helped him up. Oh my god, Roger, it's you! I was about to have a heart attack. What the hell, man? Oh, well, I'm sorry, I said, gulping in air. My heart is racing. I didn't know it was you. How did you get down here, I ask, and why are you down here? You didn't seem fit to move. He bends over and puts his hand on his knees, breathing heavily. I can see that the gash on his side is inflamed now. It's not safe up there, he says, as though that explains everything. I started running to get away and ended up here. Get away from what? I was waiting for you where we last spoke, and then I heard something in the woods. At first I thought it was just a car radio. It was some crackling static, but it was much louder, like some kind of demon. It got louder and louder and freaked me out. I just started running. I fell into some kind of sinkhole. The damn ground just fell out from under me. I ended up in this weird hallway that led me to this tunnel. He pauses, as if evaluating whether what he just said is crazy or not. Well, you're here now, and honestly I'm glad to see you, I say. What do you say we check out this platform, see if we can get some answers? There's light coming from the platform, but like the overhead lights, they're dim, red emergency lights. I start to wonder if the explosion at the logging site caused a power outage in this place, whatever this place is. The ringing noise that I originally thought was in my head is getting louder. I'm starting to think it's some sort of alarm. When we come to the large open area ahead in the tunnel, it further resembles a subway station. As much as I try to ignore the reality, it's undeniable. We've stumbled into some sort of high-tech transportation system that is buried beneath the forests of Kentucky. So we're in Kentucky? That's the most horrific thing I've heard so far. No offense to Kentucky. It makes me absolutely no sense and creates an entirely new sort of fear as to what the hell we've walked into. I notice that Dennis, however, seems confident though. When we reach the large opening, we have to climb over the rails and up onto the platform. I have to help Dennis over the rails and then up the small utility ladder that is bolted into the opposite side of the travelway. When he reaches the large open area resembling a subway waiting area, he collapses on the floor and lets out a heaving breath. You know what, Dennis says, exasperated. This is ridiculous. I quit. I ain't going any further. On top of worrying about my career and the madness of wherever we are, I'm not in the mood for Dennis to act like a baby. I mean, I believed Dennis earlier on when he said I was trying to get away from something, because we'd already, in the situation where I was questioning his trust and he lied to me, that was the logging situation. Now we're in an unknown situation. He might lie again. It's possible, but I like to believe in second chances to a degree. And at the end of the day, I could be tough on him, but I'm not. I'm going to be... he's obviously someone who makes rash decisions. So I think supporting him is probably the best bet. Not supporting him to make rash decisions, but trying to say, get up, Dennis, you can pull it together. He might appreciate that, but I think supporting him is probably the best bet. At the end of the day, he's a fragile man. I'm a good boss. I'm not the one with the gash on my side, I think to myself, so I decided to cut him some slack. Damn, boss. I'm sorry, he says. It's okay, I say. I know. I don't know how you're still on your feet, if I'm being honest. Stubbornness, he says with a weak laugh. You need a minute's rest? I ask as warmly as I can muster. No, if I sit down to rest, I'm afraid I might not get back up. Let's keep going while I can still go. I reach down, help him with his feet, and then get ourselves up to the platform. See, he respected that, and that's what you need to do. Right in front of us, there's an entrance to a long hallway, exiting the platform area. It's at this point that I realise those red emergency lights might be on for someone else who's actually supposed to be here. Again, we're going to stay quiet, we're not dumb. We don't know who that person is. I'm still not sure if I want to alert anyone to the fact that there are strangers in this secret place. And the thought of hearing a scream, even my own scream, in this empty place is too much to bear. The emergency lights continue to flicker overhead, casting a sick sort of pinkish light on everything. And my mind is racing with what sort of place this might be. It's obvious that it's meant to be a secret. And if it is supposed to be a secret, and there was a power outage recently, maybe most everyone has been evacuated. I think mostly everyone's been evacuated, but whatever. This thought does nothing to make me feel any better as we walk towards the platform exit. We step inside, and it seems just as empty as every other place we've come through, weakly illuminated by more overhead emergency lights. We're standing inside a hallway that looks surreal for a moment. Oh dear. It just looks like a standard hallway. There's seats to sit on and everything. What's surreal about that? The fact that there are seats? The hallway reminds me of a hospital wing, but there's something not quite right about it. It's the first clean and tidy area I've seen since coming to the woods. Well, yeah, woods aren't generally clean. It looks like it was recently in use, despite the dim emergency lights overhead. There are chairs against the walls, and the floor looks well cleaned, as do the walls. The ringing noise is definitely coming from here, and a small flashing red light along the ceiling seems to flash along with it. That ringing noise is an alarm, I say, if only to confirm my own thought. But for what? Dennis asks. And then he asks the question that's been on my mind since I found the little building in the woods. What the hell is this place? We exchange a look that speaks volumes. Dennis beats me, bro. We reach the end of the hallway and hear a sound like a large metallic grinding. This is followed by a clicking noise, and the unmistakable noise of a generator kicking on. Oh, well, that's good. Ish. So we've got normal lights now. Without warning, the facility jolts to life. The red glow of the emergency lights is suddenly replaced by bright white fluorescent ones. That mechanical hum is oddly comforting. Somehow, the power being back on urges us on. It's then that I notice the ringing noise has stopped. So it had been an alarm. But for what? Just the power failure? We head down the hallway, the electric hum of the lights sounding eerie overhead. Other than that, the place is dead quiet. The hall is about 100 feet long with 2 main doors. One door opens into a large room that looks like a conference room with a whiteboard and papers strewn about. Across the hallway, another door looks like a laboratory of some sort. Dennis slumps against the wall in defeat and lets out a scary sounding chuckle. Something funny? I ask as a dark and brooding panic starts to grip me. He just keeps chuckling as he slides down to the floor. I'm just gonna sit here while you look around, he says. There's a look in his eyes that reminds me far too much of a dead animal on the side of the road. Yeah, he's obviously not doing too good. Well, I think in this situation, if you enter a lab and you don't know anything about it, there could be some shit going on. I think conference room might give us a bit of informational clues as to what's going on. That's my thinking. Well, at least it looks clean enough. A large table sits in the middle of the room, lined with a series of chairs. It looks like something straight out of a showroom. A well-used whiteboard hangs on the wall, and there are scattered papers on the desk. Well, let's look at the whiteboard first. A few things are scribbled on the whiteboard, mostly formulas and names. But there are some things that are easy to understand. Things that make my blood go cold. Subject number 6, cause of death. Embolism or aneurysm, or both. Ideas for new delivery mode. Spherical? Liquid? Induced comatose state first. Terracol Co. equals possible plutonium supplier. So, something or one died from an aneurysm or embolism. Not nice. Or both. Something about a spherical stroke liquid delivery mode that induces comatose state first. So it could be that they put them in a comatose state first, then deliver the spherical stuff, or the delivery of the spherical liquid induces it as a result. I think it's the former. And then Terracol Company is a plutonium supplier. Well, that would explain potentially the radioactive hazard that we were on earlier, the radiation poisoning that we could have got. Maybe. Okay, well, obviously I'm not going to exit the room. We'll look at the papers on the table. Might as well. Most of the papers and printouts have codes and equations that go way over my head. But there are also handwritten notes that don't make me feel any better about a situation. I read through them and see scrawled notes that say things like last experiment failed equals overdose before transport. Levels indicate cellular catabolism. More lead shielding in export suits. Measurements make no sense. Let Barksdale know about possible Higgs field fix. Outside in the hallway I hear Dennis grunting. I head out the room to see him still seated on the floor. I don't get very far because as I exit, a man comes rushing around the corner with an automatic rifle in his hand. Oh, well, that escalated quickly then. Well, before we engage with man with automatic rifle in his hand, last experiment failed equals overdose before transport. So, I'm guessing whatever failed, they're going to give it or it something before they get rid of it and move it. I don't know. Cellular catabolism. I don't know what catabolism means. I thought cannibalism, but catabolism I'm assuming means they start eating themselves or something. Well, similar to cannibalism, but I'm guessing it's something along those lines. I don't know. You can let me know in the comments section below. But either way, I'm guessing it's not good. More lead shielding in export suits. I'm guessing that whatever suits they were using to protect them from what they were doing isn't good. Maybe the cellular catabolism might have something to do with the people watching said experiment were affected by the radiation from it and it's not doing good. And the measurements make no sense, so I'm guessing that either obviously it's not going to plan in terms of the theory that they've got in mind, and therefore they're trying to apply something's Higgs field fix. Maybe it's related to the Higgs boson particle, I don't know. I guess it doesn't matter, but either way, I'm guessing they're trying to say, right, this results are too powerful, or there's something not quite right. We need to contain it in some way. Either way, it doesn't matter, because man with assault rifle is attacking us and therefore might kill us, and therefore this is erroneous. Or academic. It's hard to look beyond his rifle, but the man carrying it is young, messy dark hair. His skin is so pale that I wonder if maybe he lives down here. He has the look of a guy who's been cooped up for a little too long. He doesn't seem like the kind of person I'd trust with a gun in a stressful situation. As he sees us in the doorway, he screams and brings the gun up. It's aimed directly at my head. Well, of course I'm going to put my hands up in the air. I mean, try to attack, I'm going to get shot. And if he's someone that I wouldn't trust, or Roger wouldn't trust with a gun in a stressful situation, the last thing you want to do is make the situation more stressful by attacking. Sometimes it's best just to put your hands up and defuse. I put my hands in the air, surprised at how natural it feels to go into the surrendered state. Maybe it's because this feels like a dream. Maybe it's because I feel like I'll snap awake if the maniac pulls the trigger. Or maybe because if I don't, he'll kill me. Who are you? And how did you get here? The man asks harshly. Before we can answer, he continues speaking. I don't recognise you. If you're here, you would have had to sneak by the security mix in the entrance hall. What? I asked, unable to think of anything else to say. Who are you? The man asked. Did you do this? The man eyes us both, and I see something in his eyes that unsettles me. He's scared that there's something else. Well, we're just loggers, bro. Just be honest again. His eyes look distant for a moment, then he says, Bullshit! Well, for some reason, I'm sure he knows I'm telling the truth. Look, someone knocked the power out, the man says. It's back on now, but if it was out long enough, well, we're in a heap of trouble. Was it you? Who sent you? Look, we don't know what you're talking about, Dennis says. Something happened out in the woods. Are you alone? Are there others with you? The armed man asks, thrusting the gun in my face. How the hell did we get in this situation? I think to myself. If only I had left that damn ringing noise alone, we wouldn't be here. I'm not really sure if we want to give this guy information yet. We don't know anything about him. Then again, he might have answers. Well, we're looking for a crew. Simple as that. It's honesty. We have other crew members we can't find, I say. Your crew? He asks, seeming confused. If this man thinks that we're nuts, there's no telling what we might do. The fact that he looks a little crazy himself makes the situation even hairier. But how'd you get in here? The man asks. I point down the hall towards the subway. Well, we came in that way. The doors weren't locked. His expression calms a bit, but I'm still very aware of the gun that's leveled less than a foot away from my face. Well, I'm not going to grab his gun. Please put the gun down, bro. The only way I'm putting this rifle down is after I've blown your brains out, the man says. With that, he sticks the muzzle of the gun in my face. It's a childish move, a playground tactic at best, but sufficient to show me that he knows he's in control now. Well, that's fair enough. He then levels the rifle at Dennis, and I can only assume it's because his wounds make him appear to be the weaker of us. The man takes a shaky step forward. Dennis looks back and forth between the barrel of the gun and me, his eyes pleading for help. Oh, right, well, we are so not going to let Dennis get shot. I mean, don't get me wrong, I know Dennis's dick is over, but we're the boss. And bosses have to take it for the team. I know that might seem controversial to some people, but bosses need to take it for the team if they trust their team. And even if they don't, it shows that it's leadership. Because if you show leadership and you show you trust your workers and value your workers, then they will trust and value you. And if they don't, you fuck them over. But yeah, fuck it. Step in between Dennis and the gun. I'm sorry. Dennis isn't going to get shot for this. Before I'm fully aware of what I'm doing, I'm out in front of Dennis. The barrel of the rifle is nearly touching my chest now. Both Dennis and the man seem a little confused at my action, and I do my best to swallow down my fear. Look, I don't know what's going on here, I say. We're here by mistake. Well, you've no business here, the man says. But now that the power is on, I think you might be too late anyway. For what, I ask. But he doesn't answer me. Instead, he steps forward and actually pushes me backwards at the end of his rifle. The man then repeats a question he asked before, one that makes no sense and honestly makes me think he might be a little crazy. Who sent you? He asks. You assholes from the Pentagon? I'm not quite sure as to how to take this question. Is this guy joking? No. What the hell are you talking about, bro? No, I say, we're just loggers. Something blew up, my friend got hurt. We're looking for the rest of our crew. likely story, the man says, but I see a flick of recognition in his face that makes me think he might believe me. Still, his grip on the gun is as tight as ever. The look on his face makes me think he'll shoot at any moment. Well, whatever. You both just stand still, he says. Sooner or later someone will come along and I'll turn you over. He again thrusts the gun forward as if it has an invisible bayonet on it. There's no need for that, I tell him. I have no guarantee that he won't pull the trigger. Look, Dennis says, we don't want any trouble. We're just as confused as you are. Then in a movement so fast, as I just about miss it, Dennis lunges forward. I've no idea how he's moving so fast. I mean, just 30 seconds ago I was worried about how close to death he looked. But now he's moving, lightning fast, his left arm coming down on the barrel of the gun like a club. In the commotion, the man does pull the trigger. The booming noise is deafening, and there is a moment where I think I've been hit. It takes the clanging noise of the ground tearing into the floor at my feet to help me realise that I have not been shot. I look at the floor and see where the shot missed my right leg by less than 3 inches. That's a fair distance. I'm paralysed. I'm in shock for a moment as Dennis and the man fight over possession of the rifle. There's a fire extinguisher on the wall. I could use it as a bludgeon, but I might not have enough time to grab it before Dennis is overpowered. Fuck it. Punch him. Punch the man! Dennis has the man pinned to the floor, but isn't strong enough to keep him down. Sometimes you just got to stay together. As I fall to the floor to help, the barrel of the rifle swings right in front of my face, a reminder of how close I had come to being shot. On my knees now, I deliver a hard, stiff punch to the man's face. I don't punch someone often. Well, never really. I'm just not usually the brawling type. Well, still, it's apparently effective. The man's head snaps back hard and his grip on the gun loosens. Dennis grabs the gun and falls to the floor, clearly winded and in pain. Our attacker is immobilised. I can feel a shift in the situation. Yet although he is basically harmless now, I feel the need to pummel him, a desire that builds with each second I look at him. Now we'll stand up and step back, bro. Come on, bro. At the end of the day, it's fine. He's definitely out now. No threats. Or at least that's what I think. But he surprises me by mustering up one more swift kick in my direction, connecting with my forehead. My eyelid swells to the side of a grape almost immediately. It seems like this last attack is more to spite me than to defend himself. I stumble back and ready myself for another round of blows, but he just slouches into the floor. He's done. Dennis instantly hands the rifle over to me and I take it with shaking hands. I can't believe you stepped between me and that gun, Dennis says. He could have killed you. I was pretty sure he wouldn't, he said, although I had no such thing. Still, thanks man, that was some heroic stuff. You'd have done the same, right? He says nothing. His eyes look to the floor. What do we do now, boss? Dennis asks. We've come this far and I want answers. I sense that Dennis does too. I take a hard look at the man before I reply. We get answers from this guy. No answers, the man says. I don't have any. Next time, I won't just hit you, I said, plunging the rifle towards him. Now get up. He obeys quickly, but his legs are wobbly and he leans against the wall for support. I can feel my swollen eyelid from where he kicked me earlier. I just hope it doesn't get so bad that it affects my sight. Okay, let's move, I say, pointing the gun further down the hallway. We've come this far, and I'm not going to let this guy stop us. We walk down the hallway till we come to the end. A single elevator waits for us. Its steel sliding doors larger than a normal elevator. See, me and Dennis, we're like fingers crossed, baby. We are like fucking blood brothers. I mean, we've only really just connected. But I showed I'm a fucking leader and showed I'll defend Dennis. Because Dennis is my logger boy. He might be a liar, but I was honest with him. I called him out. But in this unknown situation, he has to know I'm there for him. I hope he repays us in kind. And if he doesn't, I'll fucking fire his ass. Literally and metaphorically speaking. You lift. Before I get into the elevator with this guy, because that's what you do, I think it's wise to learn a bit more about him. I can tell it's making him uncomfortable for me to have the gun. What's your name, I ask. Marcus. Do you work here? It's clear that he doesn't want to answer, but he gives us a little nod. We're looking for the rest of our crew. Any idea where they might be, I ask? No, he says curtly, not bothering to elaborate. There's got to be some useful info we can get out of this guy. I just need to know how to dig for it. I need a first aid kit for my friend here, I say. Where might I find one? Down on the second floor, he says. But we can't go down there. Why not? What's on it? He looks at me like I'm an idiot. You must be aware you're inside of a classified government facility, he says. Well, it makes sense, but I want to doubt it. Well, I'm sure our government would want you to help save my friend. Take me to the first aid kit. I can't, he says. You don't have clearance. I barely have clearance. And then seemingly to himself he mutters, I make this place run. I'm not even a thank you. Just a bunch of restricted access rooms that I'm only allowed to go into with a friggin' chaperone. Interrupt his monologue. We're going to that first aid kit. I could lose my job, he says. I wondered for a moment what sort of trouble I could get in for hitting a government employee. This makes me glad I took it easy on him. Then again, he had come at us with a rifle. It makes me think that things have gone terribly wrong in this place. And the explosion in the woods, or whatever the hell had happened, might be linked to it all. I need to convince him to take us to the second floor, but I'm not sure if it would be more productive to threaten him or ask for sympathy. It's a hard one because this Marcus guy, he has come across as quite hard. He's muttering to himself, I run this place, blah 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 blah. And we could threaten him, but at the same time, the problem with threatening him at this point, it probably wouldn't work as effectively as it could have done because we let it easy on him. We didn't punch when we punched him to the ground. We didn't keep hitting him. If we'd have kept hitting him and then threatened him, he might believe the threat because he would feel like we're actually quite, we're up for one. But since we didn't beat him down and he allowed us to kick us in the eye, I don't think threatening him is going to work. I think he'll just see through that shit. Marcus doesn't seem to be the kind of guy who falls for bullshit. So as a result of that, it may not be the most effective decision, but I'm going to ask for help. Look, I say, it hasn't been the best day. We're just trying to find out what's going on, find our crew to survive. I know that this isn't a normal situation down here. It looks like all your protocols are blown to hell. Can't you help us out? He looks at me sternly, weighing his options. Okay, he says. Thank you, I say. With an untrusting stare, Marcus walks to the elevator door, approaching a small keypad by the doors. He punches in a numerical code on the keypad, and we can hear a slight mechanical hum behind the steel doors. After a few seconds of angry glances and frightened sneers from Marcus, the elevator arrives. The steel doors slide open with a whisper, revealing the interior. There you go. Maybe it wouldn't have mattered which decision we made, but I think it's consistent with our character that we've set ourselves up with so far. I love the artwork in the background to this. It's very simple, but I think it really does add to the feeling and the immersion of this game. That's just me, by the way, but I really like it. It's exceptionally well lit and looks to be made of stainless steel. I half expect the thing to take off at the speed of light. There's another small keypad on the front right panel by the door with the two options for 3 sub-level floors. Looks like this elevator doesn't go to the surface. So after we get a first aid kit for Dennis, how do we get out of here, I ask? We can't leave, Marcus says. Once the power came back on, the whole place was put on lockdown. What? I shout. Can't you override it? No, it's to prevent anything from getting out. I can't. He looks as deflated as Dennis. We can't get out. We're stuck here. Yeah, well, you don't have to take his fucking word for it. Dennis leans into the corner and almost falls onto the floor. The struggle for the rifle took a lot out of him. I can see that much in his face. Slowly we start to move down. The hum and grind of the car's motors fill the space. Well, I'm not going to attack him. We're going to stick with the sympathetic route because it's consistency. Consistency is key. So are we stuck here forever? He scowls at me. I think it's a fair question. It doesn't seem unreasonable to assume he won't be able to get us out. We'll find somebody with the access codes, and they'll be begging me to figure out how to lift the lockdown. Those people think they're so brilliant, but some of them can barely turn their computers on without help. Top coder in my class at MIT, and I'm stuck living underground, helping idiots who don't even trust me with keys. Well, what goes on here then? Yeah, let's just feed into his ego a bit here. He shakes his head. You may as well shoot me. I can't tell you. Well, why not? It's beyond classified, and the things I don't know even cover the start of it. Well, what does that mean? I asked, starting to get irritated. It means that even if I wanted to tell you what sort of work is done here, I don't know enough about it. Fair enough. Well, I'm not going to erase him. Let's just say how big it is then. Well, how big is this place? Well, it's a government facility of the highest secrecy, Marcus says. A research facility. It goes 4 stories underground, and quite frankly, it scares the piss out of me that you two got in here so easily. Why is that, I ask? This is a Black Ops graveyard, he replies. Even the CIA doesn't know this place exists. Okay. Well, what knocked the lights out then? Seems like some sort of power outage, Marcus says. That's all I know. There was an outage and then... Well, then what? Dennis asks weakly. Things get weird. Things got bad. Bad how, I asked. The whole place seemed to shake when the lights went out. I was checking the monitors when it happened and everything went dead. It took no more than a minute or so before I started hearing the screams. People were being killed by something. I tried getting the security cameras going again, but they only lasted for a little bit on my backup systems. But what I saw... What? I asked, feeling a sharp fear worm its way into my guts. Well, what I saw on the screens for that little bit of time made no sense. It made me get the gun from the emergency vault. I think whatever it is, it's still down here. Hold on, I say. There's an emergency vault with a rifle in the same room as security cameras in this place? Marcus gives me a grin that looks nearly insane. There are guns locked away in every room in this place. Just in case, you know. Just in case of what? I'll feed into his ego. As he opens his mouth to answer, the elevator comes to a stop and the doors slide open. Marcus is out right away without a word. He makes his exit and heads directly for a glassed-in room that's filled with computer monitors and high-end equipment. Dennis and I file out behind him, trying to keep up. As we do, one very alarming question runs through my head. What the hell kind of government facility keeps loaded guns and emergency vaults in every single room? I personally don't think, bro, that is the question I would have. My question would be, the fuck is the thing that was killing the people? And what the fuck were they doing here? The guns being in every room? That's a side note. I mean, it could add to what was going on down here, but that's not the thing. I suppose in a way you could argue it's a roundabout way of saying what was going on here, but either way, yeah. End of chapter 2. And that's where we're going to end it for tonight, ladies and gentlemen, at least for this video. Now, I don't know how this game saves. I'm assuming it allows us to carry on. But if it doesn't, I will get back to this bit with the same choices we've made, and we'll carry on. But before we do go, let's have a look at what choices we made and compare them to what people have made earlier. I like that sort of thing. Curiosity. You and 39% of players obeyed the warning sign and stayed away from the glow. Yeah, because we's smart. Selflessness. You and 64% of players stepped in front of Dennis to protect him from Marcus. Well, maybe we wouldn't do that in real life, but we like to think that we do. Mercy. You and 65% of players were easy on Marcus after he surrendered. Well, yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, this guy obviously knows... Well, he doesn't obviously know, but this guy was down here. He seemed scared, and... Yeah, we got a fucking kicked eye in, which didn't really help. But hey, when we get the first aid kit and we help Dennis, whatever's left over could help us with the eye. At least prevent secondary infection. But either way, I hope you're enjoying this. I love this game. It's not really a game per se. It's more of an interactive story, as it did clearly say at the beginning. But I like the premise of this game. Or the story, even. Sorry, I shouldn't say game. I mean, it technically is a game because it's on a video game platform. But I like the premise of this. It's not, I have to admit, playing it for myself after all these years, it's not as cool as I remembered it. As in, like, there are some questionable choices characters make that you don't get to make. But, you know, you got to have a little bit of a sense of suspension of disbelief, I should say. Other than that, I like the setup, and I like being down in this underground basement. I love the whole idea of government conspiracy stuff, like there's a secret base and blah, 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 they're investigating something and all that. I like all that. But yeah, either way, I hope you've enjoyed it. And like I said, we haven't abandoned Tales of Berseria, we haven't abandoned Deponia, we're going to carry on with those. But I just wanted something to break in to get back into making videos. And I have to say, I've really enjoyed, since the beginning of this video, I've really enjoyed making this. It's made me feel a lot better. And I hope you guys and girls, again, are okay. I really hope you're all safe, because we're in very, very unusual times. For whatever reason, it doesn't really matter. At the end of the day, life has been affected greatly by it. And I hope you guys and girls, or I say guys and girls because that's what I say. I know there's a lot of people who are non-gender specific or gender fluid. I'm not trying to exclude you, by the way. When I say guys and girls, I mean everybody. That's just my way of saying everybody. So please don't take it the wrong way. Either way, I don't know why I'm being pedantic about the detail. I just thought I would do. But either way, point being is I hope you guys and girls, everybody, are doing well and you're all safe and sound. And if you're not, I hope things get better. Or if you are, things will continue to get better or stay as they are, whichever is the case for you. And it is time to end. So thank you again for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Please join me for Chapter 3 and beyond for this LP. Take it easy. Have a good one. Hope you're well. And I will hopefully see you in the next video very soon. Until then, bye for now.